Assalamu alaikum, Ejaz.
Wa alaikum assalam. Tufayl, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Doing
I'm
good.
doing well.
Great stuff.
How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah. A bit cold, but carrying on, carrying on.
What are we doing?
So we want to talk today about the emergence of winter weddings. I don't know if you've noticed, but this year there's been a huge surge of winter weddings, whereas in the past, weddings were usually your spring, your summer type, occasions. But this year, I've noticed, and in our family as well, we've had 2 winter weddings, and I know people who have gone for 4 weddings in a row in winter.
Wow.
And it's just an interesting change of, direction. What do you think are factors besides the cold? I think that's been the main reason. Like, people need hot water bottles, don't help throughout the night.
It's time. I need a human heater.
Yeah, it's time. But yeah, what do you think are factors that has seen this emergence of winter weddings?
One, I think, is a little more positive. I think people have foregone the process of waiting so long. Like before the proposals will come, this, that, and the other. And it'll always be like a good couple of months before it lapses. So in certain aspects, there is a religious component that some people have adopted. They're like, okay, no, like within a month or 2, let's bring it closer, just enough time to prepare this, that, and the other. And let it happen kind of thing. I think that's one aspect where now, instead of waiting from now, say the proposal happens in like May or June, now wait till November or September, October, or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. It's just like, okay, like next couple of weeks, something can happen kind of thing. People are no longer waiting. I also think, I don't know if there's an aspect of realizing that, listen, there's far freer slots at all of the venues that you want to choose and whatever else. To do it in winter because it's less sought after. I mean, previously it was like September to March is the window generally that a lot of the functions would happen. So from September, wedding season is gonna kind of start. Mm-hmm. And then there's that break, December, January, late December, early January, because a lot of people generally travel and it's the school holidays and whatever else. But I think it's changed to sort of just, listen, it's easier to find a place, it's cheaper. I don't know if it's the most considerate for all your guests.
Especially the veterans of life.
Yeah. But I mean, it works. I don't see a major issue with it. Go for, reasonable hours. Winter night weddings, I think, will be a little difficult. Surprisingly enough, I got married in August. And it was still a little chilly. It was mid-August, but it was still a little chilly. But we were like, no, it's a daytime thing, so it wasn't too bad. But I think doing it in the evening, like around June, July, that's a bit rough. Plus the evening's early, so I mean, double rough.
And that's the thing, you mentioned that, the days are not too bad. So mostly if you're having like a Sunday lunch type of wedding, the weather is pleasant enough to have a good time.
Yeah.
And everyone's not shivering, and generally it makes for good wedding times. And it's just the nights, like if you're having your khatams or your mehndi or whatever it is, those events that take place at night.
Yeah.
You feel the cold.
Yeah, and there is no real other time to have them other than in the evening, because it's generally like a Thursday or Friday evening type of thing, because after work and whatever else. The nights, I think, are hectic. And it's not only about the function being at night, right? Like, even if things finish off a bit later, they are in the day or late afternoon or whatever. Some people gotta, commute back to and from wherever they came from. That becomes a bit, when it's winter and you must sit in a cold car, even if you run the heater, or you've got kids and you're going to make sure they're dressed appropriately. I know in winter, like for us personally, we've been a bit less likely to go to a lot of places because we've got a little one, and like it's just, is he hot, is he cold, is he warm enough? And then it's like, there's just too many things to take. It's easier to just stay indoors where it's warmer, and that's the end of that. I think there's a lot of those factors that go into it. But I'm pretty sure for the prospective partners that choose to have their weddings that time, they know that, they have the reasons, I suppose. Winter getaways are also much cheaper. I think they thought everything through.
Yeah, and like you said, venues are much easier to get hold of. Prices as well, because venues generally, I know it's their quiet time
Yeah.
in terms of functions and stuff. So you can get a better rate for your venues as well. So it works out nicely in that way.
It does, and it's new. It's not a very common thing. A lot of people didn't used to do it before, but it's one that I haven't found any issue with per se.
Yeah, no complaints. I mean,
Yeah,
the two functions we had in the last 3 or so weeks went off, alhamdulillah, beautifully, and weather held up. There is that concern when you wake up in the morning of an event or function and
Yeah.
it's chilly and you're like, is it going to be one of those days? But
Yeah.
the weather generally tends to clear up towards your 12, 1 o'clock, and it's a pleasant day going forward.
I don't know about you, but I'm a winter person. I enjoy winter.
Is it?
I find the heat unbearable.
It's
Um,
funny, but we operate like that. When it's winter, we're like, I can't wait for summer.
Yeah.
And then the first heat wave that comes, like, when is winter coming again? I can't deal with this anymore. So we tend to have short memory spans when it comes to that. But yeah, I'm the opposite of you. I'm more a summer person. I think I enjoy the outdoors and all of that more. And winter just, I don't know about if it's this particular winter, but it just feels like it's been dragging on a bit longer than normal. I don't know why. Is it just the cold that's freezing my brain, or what?
I think it's possible. I don't know. I found actually surprisingly enough this winter was like mixed. Like we had a couple of cold, spells in between, but we've had a lot of decent days. The evenings do get quite chilly, but the days have been more that I can count have been more comfortable than the days that have been extremely cold. I don't know. Maybe I'm living in a bubble. But then again, I don't regulate. My body regulates temperature for winter. I think I'm cold-blooded. I don't know. Like, I prefer, coming back to the weddings, like, I prefer attending winter functions because I can suit up and like, dress well.
You go full out with the
comfortably.
waistcoat, with the
Yes.
jacket, the
Yeah.
coat, even if you want to,
Yeah.
a long Peaky Blinder type coat.
Yeah.
And
It's hard to do like a 3-piece with a throwover in like summer because like you're baking, whether it's day or night, to be honest. And I do enjoy like full formal attire like in winter because it's a lot easier to keep on like the layers. You don't have to like unbutton a shirt after a while because you're like dying in there kind of thing.
do you think the winter wedding trend currently, you think it's just here for now, or you think it's here to stay?
I think it's here to stay. I think a lot of it again stems from the people not doing the long drawn out waiting thing after proposals and this, then the other. So I think that's like an evolved mindset where there is a faction of people who realize that, listen, we don't gotta prolong and delay and, wait for better weather kind of thing. Venues now accommodate for, heating and this, that, and the other. People can carry coats and jackets. I think it is one of those that's gonna stay. I do feel like once you've had a few and realize it's working, there's no reason to detract from it or move away from it in any way.
If you had a winter wedding, are you planning one for your kids or loved ones? Then comment on, what do we say? Comment on the, these kind
Type
of
things. Wherever you find a spot, wherever you're watching this, type
Yeah,
it
you-
down. We'll read it.
Yeah, the coolest show on earth on all mediums. Exactly that, the coolest show on earth. Search for it. You should find us. There's a wonderful logo with a earth on it and the coolest show on earth caption across it. So it shouldn't be too hard to find. Yeah, give us a like, follow, subscribe, whatever.
I think winter weddings aside, Ejaz, I think weddings themselves have evolved. Well, I don't know if there's like a mixed bag on it, but I know a few that I've attended recently. The concept of like the long drawn out speeches, like from the time you get there till then, it's like sort of fading away. People are like, listen, we're here to eat and take a few pictures and chuck.
Exactly. What you're saying, because the two functions we had, the program was very short.
Yeah.
A little bit nasiha, obviously opening with Quran and closing off with dua. Sweet and short. I think, like you said, people aren't there to hear your speeches for days. They'd like to hear a few words, some laughter in between, some advices. And then, of course, the main event is the food.
Yeah.
Because basically, that's the most memorable thing, or the thing people speak the most about after a wedding is like about the food, Was
Yeah.
it less salt? Was it lekker? Were you a fan of the starter? What do you make of the whole menu as a whole? People tend to talk food-wise when they look back at weddings.
Yeah, I think that's, as a guest, that's what you're sort of there for. You're there to like honor, obviously, the families that have invited you by being there. But your being there is to partake of now the spread that's there, and that's exactly what it is. That's ideally what the reception or the walima is about. It's a dawat, or like, it's chows basically. And I think that's, people realize that. And also, there's complications people have got to understand, that some people are coming now to your function and they may be on insulin, or they may be on some regulatory type medication where they've got now a window within which to operate. So it's considerate of them as well to know that now if they've taken their stuff, they've got to eat within a time frame or whatever it is. It goes a long way. And to sit there and now not know, am I going to chew the pepper? Is it going to sound too loud while this guy is speaking and shedding tears and cracking jokes that nobody laughs at? Well, the thing I love the most about wedding speeches or event speeches or event journals, for whatever reason, it seems like when they're drawing lots of who's going to give the speech that is going to be like the keynote, they always choose the person with like almost the least amount of I'm sorry if this strikes a nerve, but then you get the person with the least amount of public speaking experience coming up there like, Assalamu alaikum.
It's like
Today,
a speech contest. It's cool. My name is so and so. I always tease because my daughter gave a speech at her cousin's wedding, and the whole week when they were learning the speech, I was like, please don't come with the school. My name is
Yes.
and this is why I will always. And there's one line you always hear at wedding speeches. It's like, we didn't lose a sister, we gained a brother.
Yeah.
Like that type of. So I was like, please don't say that. It's so cliche and so overused. But we were lucky in our functions that all the people that spoke well and were natural and sometimes they surprise you. At my nephew's wedding, one of his close friends was chosen. They're a whole crew of friends. And I was like, who's going to be giving the speech on behalf of all the friends? And when they announced who it was, I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And he did well.
Good.
When it comes to emceeing at functions and speaking at functions, I like to go old school. I don't MC a lot, but the few that I did, I would go old school, with a pen and paper.
Yeah.
And people are like, come on, get with the times,
Yeah.
Speak off your phone. I say, a person that is emceeing with a phone in their hand, it looks like they're checking their WhatsApp and you just, by the way, even though they are checking their speech. I don't know, I find it weird. Even when you see a khutbah and Jummah, when the Mulana has his phone, I'm like, is he checking his WhatsApp or is he WhatsApp? You associate the phone with communication and messaging. So I still struggle to deal with seeing a phone as a means of replacing pen and paper. And also I find to feel that when you write your words down yourself, you connect with those words.
Yes.
So when you're saying your speech or you're saying your lines or whatever it is, it comes across more genuine because you actually wrote them down. There's a connection between you and those words.
There definitely is. It might seem a little old school, but there's a lot of merit to it. I think one of the others is getting the phone to comply with the duration you need the screen to be on for.
That's
and then you're
problematic.
like, wait, what's next? Unlock. Trying to.
That's literally what happened with me because my mother-in-law said, please, I have a message for all the groom's friends. Can you please read it out? So I said, yeah, no problem. WhatsApp to me. I'll just read it off my phone. And I finished my whole thing and I said, these are a few words from the mother of the groom to the groom's friends. And my phone doesn't want to unlock. And I'm like, okay, when I get to it, I'll just bear with me. And I'm like, what is happening? The fingerprint didn't want to work. The code I was putting in was incorrect. And I was like, that's why I write things down. Because the pen and paper never let you down.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I like a printed or a written out agenda as well. I find it more natural. I don't know if it's maybe just what we're accustomed to, because I mean,
Old school is the best
it's
school.
new. Like, I mean, phones are relatively new, even in the professional spaces.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, before we couldn't. I mean, a Nokia 3310 wasn't gonna. You weren't gonna take your notes for public note, the keynote address, on that thing, unless you, I don't know, SMS'd it to yourself in a couple of different SMSs.
Sure, that's many SMSs.
And then like held it here, because I mean the screens were like tiny.
Terrible.
The screen of an old Nokia phone's about the size of a screen on the smartwatches a lot of people wear nowadays, come to think of it.
That's a correct comparison, actually, yeah.
Imagine. Would have thought. But yeah, weddings, the dynamics of weddings from that regard, like the speeches has changed.
There's one more thing I wanted to talk to you about. This whole aspect of social media, it plays a huge role in this younger generation in terms of their wedding. Like you get the hashtag groom squad, and bride, hashtag bride squad, whatever.
Countdown.
The countdown, the different posters that get made daily, it's just like this. I feel like there's a lot more admin involved for the bride and groom and the relatives, close relatives. You don't forget, today's 6 days to go. I'm like, okay. Because I was like, what day are we on? Like, for me, it's like, it's a bit much. So I said, guys, you know what, just you do the post and just tag me so I can just edit to my
See
story.
which one, yeah.
So then, that way, but there is a lot. And I would say that the image of the whole procession and the whole event from the onset and throughout, it's very important for this young generation to have video and photos of every moment. For example, even if, just say they're going on honeymoon, right, and everyone's going to drop them off at the airport, then you have to, obligatory to have that picture with the two lovebirds with the bags,
Yeah, or the two passports and the rings.
Yeah, the rings. And obviously, before everything happens,
catching flights and feelings.
the one that you see always, and they would have the ayat of the Quran with created dream pairs.
Yeah.
And then that's like to let you know, okay, they got engaged or they're
now buckled.
Yeah. So the visual is very important. Social media, it plays a huge role for this generation in terms of portraying or showing almost every aspect of events, whereas everyone in the past nowadays was present, was in the moment. Here they have to be in the moment and in the moment. Everything has to be captured.
It's true. There's I think a lot of, there's good and bad. I mean, some people just enjoy that ease. The way things are. Back in the day, photos were taken. If there was someone there with a point and shoot, the only time you'd ever see it is like, maybe years down the line, if you happen to be visiting that particular house's, family, and they bring out the album, dust it off because it's been in the top cupboard for so long, and then be like, hey, remember, this was so-and-so's wedding day.
So you looked here at our wedding.
Yeah.
No? Yeah, I guess things change, but one thing that will never change is that weddings will be there. Always.
Yeah, I think people will consistently
That's the constant.
Get married. I think that's gonna happen.
By a part of our purpose, actually, half of our iman is getting married. So.
Yeah, procreation is an aspect.
So there was a fascinating discussion, Tufayl, all about weddings. We went from where to where. We started off with winter weddings. We went to social media. We went to food, we went to speeches. So it's an all-encompassing discussion, and that's the norm on the coolest show on earth. It's not just your normal day-to-day or everyday podcast. It's a holistic approach in terms of covering all different topics. And if you have topics that you'd love for us to discuss on the coolest show on earth, then contact us on the many avenues and platforms that we have. All the coolest show on earth, just search on it on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. One more?
YouTube.
YouTube as well.
You should YouTube.
We should make that channel. Is it up? That's very important, I think, for us. Yeah.
Yeah, get in touch with us. This is a show for you guys. I mean, it's for everyone. It's about, how community is, the things we do, the things we experience, so we can understand it better and have a laugh, so that we can live better the next day.
That's it.
For now, though, this is the end.
The end indeed.
This is where we stop.
This is where the mics go.